December 1860, South Carolina seceded from the Union, and 4 months later, Lincoln forced the first shot by the Confederacy at Fort Sumter. In March 1861, Lincoln sent a letter to North Carolina's Governor John Ellis and demanded 75,000 troops to subdue the states that had seceded, calling them rebellious. Governor Ellis promptly replied by telegram stating, "I regard the levy of troops made by the administration for the purpose of subjugating the states of the South as a violation of the Constitution and as a gross usurpation of power. I can be no party to this wicked violation of the laws of the country and to this war upon the liberties of a free people. You will get no troops from North Carolina." North Carolina has a proud history of standing for freedom and standing up against government oppression.
We just interviewed Reverend Barber. Do you know him?
William Barber?
Yeah. Do you know him
I don't
personally?
know. No.
Oh, okay. He more or less felt like people in America, especially in North Carolina, didn't respond well to Barack Obama being the first African American president, and that it brought out these feelings from the Civil War post Reconstruction era, and that the backlash, like Tea Party and other movements like it, was responding to that progress.
Well, I think it's all smoke and mirrors because the Tea Party is all about constitutional governance. And if you want to throw racism and you want to throw these things at smoke and mirrors, you're just diverting from the true issue, and that's that we've gone so skewed from any kind of intent, the way our country was set up. And there's no attempt to bring back the Civil War, any Reconstruction, to push anybody aside or minimize anybody. So when I hear racism, I hear Jim Crow, I hear Reconstruction, it's so devastating, and we're 140 years or so past Civil War. Time to move on.
But there is a public perception out there that you have to contend with. And you wrote about this on one of your blogs, right? About
the history of the Republican Party.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There is a problem with the Republican Party and the Tea Party sort of seeming to be dominated by white men. Because that's something, if you want to grow the movement, like you have to figure out, right? So what do you do?
We don't know. That's a discussion we have every time when we try and do a strategy, and how do we try to be more inclusive? Is it something that we're portraying? Is there some kind of vibes we're sending out? And we can't figure it out because, to be honest, Tea Partiers are the nicest bunch of people in the entire world. They are so generous. They are so giving of their time. They are so bright. They have great values, and they never try and turn anybody away. We stand for what we think are the values that should touch everybody. We're a religious group. We're a moral group. We believe in education.
As a Tea Party leader, I recognize that history is repeating itself. Once again, a free people is engaged in the endless struggle between good and evil, between liberty and tyranny. And just like colonial times, when a group of liberty-minded folks called the Sons of Liberty emerged to remind the people of this struggle, the modern-day Tea Party and other liberty-minded groups have emerged to do the same thing.
I think what's happening is that there are people who feel that America's made progress since the founding, right? Things like the civil rights.
On important issues, yes, we've been
right.
progress.
And so sometimes it sounds like with the Tea Party movement that there's no acknowledgement of that progress, especially the civil rights.
Oh, no.
Progress.
No, absolutely no.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's how it comes across.
No.
And that, going back or taking the country back feels like it's going back.
No.
Way to the founding.
That's the problem. When you take this term, take us back, William Barber, these type of people say, oh, when you use that word back, you mean back to slavery, back to, when we didn't have civil rights. It's these code words that they're implanting, but we don't mean them that way. When we're saying back, I'm a product of the school system in the 60s and 70s, 80s. And even back then, I said a prayer every morning in school. By high school, it was not a so-called prayer, it was a moment of silence. But there was always acknowledgement, bow your head, reflect that there's someone more important than you, put my priorities, ask for guidance, pray for exams.
So
church,
back to what?
Yes,
back to what?
So if you say back, when you talk about going backwards, you want to go back to when there's common sense, when there's, it's like children. They operate best when there's parameters. You know, like I have 4 kids. They'll do anything they want unless they know those boundaries. So,
Okay, so when is that? When was that kind of optimal time where there were clear parameters?
I mean, 60s were great for me, and that was my childhood. But there were we could sleep at night with our windows and our doors open in my community, and I was an ethnic community. I was not. It was Polish, Italian, Irish, totally ethnic, and we were next to a town that was all Hispanic. Okay, so it was very ethnic, but there was a time when we could sleep at night with our car doors open, our windows open, our house, our doors open. No violence, ever. You can go to school and no one got pregnant. There was respect. There's respect for society, respect for one another, in a healthy way.
So what is the turning point? Like what?
I don't know what the turning. That's a good question. I think everybody's thinking that they're more important than they are, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because everybody is special and created specially, but everybody wants something, for themselves. I deserve this because it's my right. Well, no. I mean, your rights are specifically recognized in the Bill of Rights, and don't look for more. You know what I mean? I think we're just we're personalizing certain groups. Why are we making what's uncommon about us so important? And I don't know when that happened. I'm watching the Democratic National Convention. We have Arab Democrats, we have Black Democrats, we have Spanish, Democrats. Every group, and then you look at the Republicans. They're just Republican. They're all one, just one. So I don't know when that happened. And,
well, see, some people would say that the Republican Party was, again, predominantly white,
But the whites fought for the blacks. That's the thing that they don't understand. It's the whites. It's the white Republicans, the conservatives, fought so hard for the end of slavery, for the civil rights, fought to integrate the schools. The whole history is replete with that, and it's so complete, and it's consistent, and they've turned their back, and they'll tell you at some point, the Republicans just don't represent blacks anymore. And I don't know when that happened, because everything they have was from Republican senators, congressmen, and it's kind of a slap in the face. But I think one thing they talked about during the election is, you guys want to take entitlements away from us. No, we don't. No one will ever take. We're charitable people. There'll always be programs to help, but we just don't want it. Generation, way of life, causing families to be broken apart, because it's better to be apart, getting separate welfare checks, raise one kid, having mothers provide, child services. I mean, it's all a scam. It's all a scam on other people's money.
In terms of why people of color turned away from the Republican Party?
Yeah, I wish I had an answer.
Right, but I mean, Reverend Barber and other Democrats would say it's because of the Southern strategy.
The Southern strategy was horrible. Reconstruction, but it was Southern Democrats. That was Southern Democrats.
But it still kind of continued through.
She's talking about Reconstruction. You're talking about Nixon.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Nixon's
Southern strategy, like the Atwater.
I don't know. Nixon.
It's like an electoral strategy to gain the South for the Republican Party.
I think it's sad when politics becomes so overriding that you lose human touch. And politics is like that now. You're pandering to social groups to get votes.
But the argument is that there was resentment because of integration and desegregation.
Yeah, Democrats did that.
Right, but I'm saying the Republican Party kind of exploited that resentment to kind of regain the South, so that the South became Republican. And so there are people like Lee Atwater who he was like Karl Rove. I mean, he kind of engineered this strategy, and then later on in his life, after he got sick, he kind of renounced it and said, we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but isn't that what the Democrats are doing this last election before, is using race to say, if you're black, those are some of the ads. If you're black, you have to vote Democrat. We want black Americans for Obama. It was a strategy aimed if you're, I mean, I saw those videos. I disagree with Republicans. They want to now, from what I understand, because now they're asking for money for 2016. I don't know. They keep asking for money. But I asked them, what's their new strategy going forward? Well, I think we need some kind of amnesty to appeal to the Hispanics. Well, again, you're selling your principles because you want to pander to a particular social group.
So you're not happy with this
not-
idea
no.
of appealing to
No,
Hispanic voters?
No.
So what?
No.
But what if
I
there's
think
no other way to
value-based.
win? What if there's no other way to
see,
win?
then winning at. I mean, what's the cost? I mean, look. I think that's why we have the society we have, is because winning is so important. I don't like politics. I hate politics. I absolutely
You do?
hate it.
So why are you doing this?
I like the education part. I like bringing out truths for people to talk about. And if they can do that, and I mean, if it rings true to them, and they can take